Okay, so hello again. Just when you thought you'd got rid of us, we're back, and we're still talking about Christopher Nolan. By virtue of the fact that we didn't have too many things to say about Tenet, we have just been praising Christopher Nolan for the past 6.5 hours. The only way to even this up is to maybe, I thought, find something bad about each of the other films, because it was real loving. We cast a critical light over those films. We probably didn't. It maybe kind of point some of the things flaws. Okay, so before anyone's worried, we still love Christopher Nolan. That much is clear. But I just want we're going to just pick one thing each from each of his films, from start to finish, that you don't like, you think is a bad thing. Okay, we'll begin with following. So you is the thing about the following.
For me, I haven't seen it for quite a while, but it was too short because I really love it, and also the antagonist in particular is not a professional actor, is he? And I think it tells at certain times.
Was going to be my second guy, and I think he feels a little bit high school or A-level actorish kind of ideas. But I think also it's dated. Like the mise en scène, there's a lot of kind of costume, and you look at that and you feel that's proper late 90s London, where so many of his other films sort of stand test of time. So it does look dated in that respect. Okay, Memento.
I struggle with this one because, as I said, it's perfect, and you've got the only thing I could think of. So whenever I watch it, it just makes me think of The Matrix, because there's a bit of crossover with the cast, and I find that quite distracting. But that's about it for Memento, really.
Yeah, well, the thing I mentioned was when Carrie-Anne Moss's character's just like completely phlegms this gobby horrible thing into a glass, which makes me shut up. But actually, the thing that I didn't realise, I was watching for the umpteenth time to this project, and my wife, doesn't Lenny's voice nerves? And I was like, what do you? Oh, it's so monotonous. And actually, when I was listening to it, I've seen it. It's like, when he does the monologue bits, he's got just one tone, and that's
he's
it.
Got that sort of mumble, hasn't he? He's talking to himself.
He's on the phone to someone. It's quite distracting. Noticed it, you'll not unnotice it. It's quite distracting.
I'll just keep the memory. That's perfect.
It's a brilliant film. Insomnia.
I really like Insomnia, but watching these films, maybe not enough Robin Williams on screen time, and also in the context of Nolan's work, it's just too generic.
For me, it's probably the criticism that was levelled at it by a lot of people at the time, but the end is in the middle. I know that's part of his technique and the narrative. We find out who the killer is, or rather, sorry, not we find out there is, but the protagonist finds out who the killer is way through the film. And whilst they play on the blackmailing aspect, it removes any tension from the end. So it's lost.
Yeah.
Batman Begins.
This one's one of the things is not about the film itself, but within like the context of the trilogy, it's quite different, like aesthetically and in its tone. And I think there's some moments where I feel Nolan's going for maybe a bit of a German expressionist look, especially in the Narrows, but it's a bit like too obvious. It just comes out of nowhere.
You've gone. I was going to mention the narrative. It feels like a really well made set in a way, more that contrasting with the kind of grittier, more real feel of the other two. So I suppose, seeing as you've said that one, I have to jump on 15 years later, but I have to jump on the Katie Holmes wagon here, and so it's a weird bit of casting. And I had nothing against her. I'm sure she's in the right parts. I don't know. She never quite gels with everything else that's going on there. Bit weird. Okay, The Prestige.
There's no way on earth a wife wouldn't know a husband was twins.
Yeah,
there is no way. Okay, I'm happy to suspend my disbelief watching the film, but in reality, it's like, come on.
Yeah. I think the whole Borden thing, particularly with the beard and stuff, a lot of people I know say, well, we not meant to know they were brothers, or or was it the same person or whatever. But for me, it's a weird one. This is a voice one. Now, it's not to do with Hugh Jackman, actually Christian Bale. The weird thing being that's his proper voice. But for some reason, his American accent is so good that I find whenever he does his real accent, it's jarring. It sounds too Cockney. And it was a bit like he's sort of hamming it up at him, so I struggle with that. Okay, possibly the most perfect film ever made, The Dark Knight. What's wrong with this movie?
So this is not the film itself; it's like the legacy. It's like what it did to Joker, and like how it turned Heath Ledger's Joker became like the symbol of like the the so-called incel type, and the way that like the Joker is sort of revered as like a positive character.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mine's Joker rated, but it's to do with the Joker's ending in this film. For such a brilliant performance, just see the character swinging there, and I don't need a grandstanding speech. And the point of his character is to undo a lot of characterization, like cliches, but he doesn't get the send off that art deserved. Instead, you get another 20 minutes of game theory whereby the citizens of them decide whether they're going to blow each other up or not, and it feels like a bit of a damp squib end, I think for that character. Inception.
There's a few things about the film. I think it's a bit cold. The aesthetic, I think, is a bit really boring and dull and very corporate, which we talked about. But also, it sort of does me head in how highly rated it is.
Right.
It's good. Like, I get it, it's good, but like,
well, some people number one in their list.
Exactly.
I think it's I think it is perfect, but apart from who's the actor who plays Saito? Is it Ken Watanabe?
Ken Watanabe.
Yeah, Ken Watanabe. Every film that makes a character look old than they are. Why have they never perfected the makeup for this? I don't understand. It's the same with Guy Pearce in Prometheus. It just looks like a normal actor in an old person's mask that used to get from a joke. And they never
looks like covered in paper mache paste and they let it dry.
It's weird.
I don't. Wrinkly and white. Yeah.
Knowing how good makeup effects can be, I don't know why they can't make someone look old properly. So that annoys me. Okay, Dark Knight Rise.
Selena Kyle's heels. Like, I get what he's going for aesthetically, but come on, like, I mean, it just seems very impractical. This
particular point is what gave me the idea that we should pick one bad thing for all of the films, because I love this film so much. And yes, there's a ton of like a little plot point errors or continuity errors that we've discussed that really don't matter. But Marion Cotillard's death scene as Talia, it bugs me every time I watch it. Why didn't they just get one more take instead of her going?
Yeah.
It's crazy that they didn't. Whether too big an actress, and she was like, "So you got that?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course."
There's a famous quote attributed to William Shatner, isn't it? Which is a joke in Futurama, and it's like Shatner apparently once said, I'm a professional. Amateurs like you do 2 takes. I do 1 take.
That's how it feels. I can't get over that every time I see it. Okay, Interstellar.
Overuse of the word relativity. There's one moment after they get off the planet and they explain it, and it's just one or too many times where the word actually starts to become meaningless. And it's the only time in the film when I'm taking out the film and you're like, stop saying relativity. I understand it. I get it.
Mine is that for all the accusations of Nolan being heavy-handed with the plot exposition, this is one where he's a bit handed with the theme exposition, which is quite subtle about. So, the fact that there's so much of this film is based in real science, Kip Thorne's involvement and the kind of relativity stuff. But there's a moment in the film where, of course, meant to know, well, this is a film about families and relationships, and that actually there are greater things beyond the universe. But then Anne Hathaway actually said it turns out the greatest force in the universe is love. And it's like, no, I get that. You don't have to say it out loud. I don't think an astronaut would say that either. So it's,
I'll just add as well to Interstellar, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Right.
He's like a scientist who feels like he has to wade in and correct everything. It's like, I think you're missing the point, like the word fiction.
Okay, finally, Dunkirk, your favourite What's Wrong with this movie?
3 words for you. Brexit the movie.
Brexit the movie. Is it a poster boy for the... Yeah.
Well, I think it's that's when I saw Brexit. When I saw Dunkirk in the cinema, we had a trailer for, I think it was Victoria and Abdul, a trailer for The Darkest Hour. And then I watched the film, which basically shows how Europe is useless and it takes the Brits to get out of Europe to save the nation.
That's it. I love you've gone for something as that. Mine is just noticed there are a couple of scenes that or shots that are out of focus. I've never noticed a technical error before. Yeah, I know they commented on the muffly sound for some of this, but some of the shots from inside the Spitfire, because I know they filmed a lot of it on the wing. There are a couple of shots which are soft, and you could never accuse him of that. So that's sort of a weird one. That, but there we go. So 10 films with things wrong with them. So what what a disgrace.
The Tenet.
But no, I think we covered Tenet quite a lot. I'm just saying that of the 10 previous films, we've evened up the score. Then they're all pretty much the same, all as bad as each other. Let's say.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Okay.
So I said he's human after all, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Well, good. Tell us more your least favorite things of Nolan's film, but of course there's lots celebrated too. So for a second time, thanks again, Matt, for the project.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's been really fun.
It's been really fun and really interesting, and hopefully film students and non-film students enjoy it just as much. And we'll be back with other projects at some point. Cheerio.
Bye.